You know, I've been making content for Call of Duty for about 7 years now at this point. It really started to take off more in 2019, but I've been making content for a while. And it's not often we get an update in the game, like in Warzone, that really excites me like this one has. And you might be wondering, well, what's so different about this one? Well, of course, this is an integration update we recently got. Black Ops 7 integrated with Warzone, and that generally has some exciting updates overall because new perks, new mechanics, a new map or something like that, new guns, of course, just new things to learn. It's always just generally inherently exciting. But for this particular update, there's something for me and for the Goomy gang, of course, and for hopefully a lot of you guys out there that really just took the excitement level to an all-time high that it's been in quite a while. And a lot of you guys might not think it's that serious, but for me, this is something that I've been wanting for so long. We finally have an honest-to-God marksman rifle style slug shotgun in the game with one-shot headshot capabilities that aren't just at 5 meters or something like that, with a good distance to it. It is so much fun, and using it has reignited my love for Warzone in a lot of ways. I know that's really silly, but it's just so good to have a slug shotgun that's actually decently viable and fun to use and can just demolish people if you know what you're doing. It's so much fun. So before I get into it, as always, timestamps will be in the description below if you want to hop to where I talk about the build or just want the build itself just so you can copy and paste it and then get the hell out of here if you want. Go for it. There's that in the timestamps. But with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about why I'm so excited about this. And to show you guys, let's just go ahead and hop into the gunsmith to check out the shotgun slug attachment specifically for the M10 breacher. And if you hop on over to the advanced stats, this will basically reveal everything you need to know. And luckily we have the distance and the damages per distance now, which is a really cool feature for the new Black Ops 7 integrated Warzone advanced stats. But the first thing you should immediately notice is bam, right up top, headshot damage 300, which means yes, you can in fact get one-shot headshots with this gun out to 30 meters. If you take a look at the distance there, it is actually a 30-meter one-shot kill range, which is basically the equivalent of something like the SX that we had not too long ago in Black Ops 6. It's not sniper rifle level one-shot headshot range, but this is so good to see, and it makes such a massive difference when using it. Not only that, but if you take a look at the body multipliers, you'll see all around it's really not bad. If you are hitting chest shots or up, or even arm like hands, you can basically two-tap with this gun. It deals 150 damage, so that's obviously a two-tap. Now, the one thing I will say, one of my gripes about it is your stomach damage is like a 0.5 damage multiplier, so you basically deal half your damage and you deal 75. So if you hit stomach shots with this, it'll take you like 4 shots. Really not good. I don't think it needs to be that low. If any devs are watching, maybe bump it to 100 damage. I don't really think it needs to be 75. That's a little overkill, but I can totally get like making it a 3-shot kill or anything like that with stomach shots. Totally understand. But the fact of the matter is you can 2-tap chest shot, 1-shot headshot out to 30 meters. My God, that's so much better than anything we've had in so long, and I am in love with this thing. I've been using it, and I'm just, oh my God, it's so much fun. Now, from 30 to 80 meters, you deal about 240 damage for headshots, so it's always going to be a 2-shot headshot past 30 meters, which is okay. That's fair enough to me. Chest is going to deal about 120, stomach's about 60, legs 96, so you definitely want to still hit headshots and chest shots. And what's nice is at least if you hit one headshot, you just have to hit one body shot after that at a long distance to really get that kill, which is also really, really cool. And then 80 meters plus, it's still a 2-shot headshot, which is nice, but you're going to need to land a couple more body shots on top of that. Not super great that far, but honestly, the fact that you can 2-shot headshot, hey, I will take it. The really cool thing though here is that 30-meter one-shot headshot range and 2-tap to the chest, and also just having to hit one headshot and one body shot out to 80 meters makes this a really, really good marksman rifle. Probably better than you might expect. Now you might be wondering, why don't you use just something like the Kar 98 or something like that? Well, there's a few different reasons why this is better in some ways. For one, the mobility and handling is probably way better. With this thing, you're handling like your aim down sight speed and your sprint to fire speed isn't super slow because it's inherently a shotgun. They don't balance them to where they're like a sniper rifle level of slow, so you can move around with it decently and get your gun up in time in close range engagements, which is really nice. Also, since this is a shotgun, you don't lose any of your close range aim assist like you do with some of the marksman rifles that they kind of took that away from controller players. With shotguns, they still have your aim assist, so it's not going to go, which makes it a little bit easier to use in close range engagements, but don't get me wrong, it's still definitely hard to use. Also, what's nice about this is the slugs have a bullet velocity of at least 700 with no attachments, which is just on its own good enough. Like, you really don't need to kit this out for anything crazy like bullet velocity wise. 700 is totally fine for this. You might have to lead at longer distances. That's totally fine for using slugs, but up close and at medium ranges, it's not really a big issue. And you don't really have to aim way above their head. It's not like traditional slugs where they just go way down. Their bullet velocity goes way down after like 30 meters. Just doesn't happen with these, so that's super nice to see. Now I want to hop over to the gunsmith and share the build I've been rocking and talk about some attachments if you want to swap out a few to really get this gun dialed in for your performance. So here's the basic blueprint for you guys. This is going to be a very good close to medium range marksman rifle style shotgun. Really definitely go for those 2-shot or 1-shot kills. Very, very nice. But now let's go into some attachments. Of course, slugs is mandatory here, as you might expect, which sucks because we can't rock the pump guide rod, but it's totally fine. For some other good attachments, I really like this light barrel. This light barrel came in clutch for multiplayer for me grinding this shotgun, but also in Warzone, it's really nice. It's a 6-round style mag, so it isn't a shell by shell reload, but instead you basically load 1 magazine at a time, which might be a con to some, might be a pro to others. I like it a lot, and especially because it gives you a great boost to your handling. It's just really nice for close quarters engagements overall. There's other barrels that do other things. You don't really need to rock one for bullet velocity or range. This thing has enough range as is. It has good enough bullet velocity as is. I really don't think it's necessary, but if you wanted to rock one for maybe more ammo or to load shell by shell, that's another alternative you can do. Something like, I don't know, maybe the overload barrel or even the bull barrel. That's totally up to you, but in my opinion, the light barrel is probably the better way to go just because it's so much better with your handling. Next up for the stocks, I've been rocking the M10 light grip, but also things like the no stock attachment. I decided to go with the M10 light grip because even though it doesn't give you as much aim down sight speed as no stock, it basically helps with your aim down sight's movement speed, which is really nice to get in and out of cover. There's other attachments you can use here. If you want to go full min-max aim down sight's movement speed, the R54 padded stock is great for that, but otherwise I would go for something like the no stock option, the M10 light grip. Those are generally two good ones to run because you really want to get your gun up in time, and having a quick snappy aim down sight speed is really important. Next up for the lasers, there's two to really focus on here. There is the aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed laser, the 1 milliwatt instinct one. That's what I've been rocking because it's just great overall. You can rock something like the 5 milliwatt lockstep laser, which is for hip fire to aim down sight's accuracy. I didn't feel it's quite as necessary since you already have a snappy aim down sight speed with this gun, so I would go for maybe the 1 milliwatt over the 5 milliwatt, but just try them both out, see which one feels good to you. Now, one fun thing about this gun, and with slugs in particular, you can rock it with tac stance. It's not actually impossible because of the charge mechanic. Now, normally if you just aim down sights with it, you'll see it's not really super accurate, but the moment you charge it, it basically goes exactly where you want it to in tac stance, which is really cool. So it is fun. It's a little bit harder to use. Now, if you're just going base aim down sights, meaning not tac stance, as long as you're aiming down sights, you don't actually have to have it fully charged to get your gun to go where you want it, or I'm sorry, your slug to go where you want it. It pretty much goes exactly where you want to point it without having to charge it, at least in those closer distances. It really doesn't make a big difference if you charge it or not, but I still charge it out of habit because it's really awkward with that delay when you're trying to sprint up to someone and then you shoot and there's a weird awkward delay. Really awkward, like I said, so I definitely encourage you guys to at least try to get used to just charging it and then getting your one-shot kills like that. But overall, it's super solid with tac stance. Of course, you just have to charge it. But the other attachment I want to talk about is going to be the underbarrel grip, and that is going to be the Redwell Dash hand stop. Now, this is going to go for your movement speed and hip fire movement speed. It's just good for mobility overall. Since this is a shotgun, you want to focus on having some good, decent handling and mobility, and that's a good grip for that. Now, if you want to swap this out for a sight, I like the iron sights, but if you want to rock some sort of precision sight or a scope, you totally can if you want to go long distance. I prefer having something for close quarters. That's why I go for something like an underbarrel grip. You can also rock a suppressor. I don't really care much for it, but you totally can. This is sort of my blueprint though, and I definitely recommend you guys just going with this and swapping it out from here. So now that we got that out of the way, I feel like I really don't need to share my thoughts on this because, as you might expect, this is a glorious moment. Like, it's just such a good moment in Call of Duty shotgun history. This is an amazing change. To any devs that are watching my content, I know a few of you guys potentially might that I've interacted with over on Twitter or X. This is great, and this is exactly what I've been wanting. Something like this is exactly what the shotgun category needs, and I'm all for it. Now, I will say I would like to see this implemented on other shotguns, of course. Things like the Brysons, they definitely definitely need some love, especially slugs. Things like on the Lockwood 300, like the old 725 one-shot double barrel shotgun, I would love for that to come back in some capacity. We really need slugs across the board for these heavy hitter shotguns to have some sort of high risk, high reward, just exactly like the M10 Breacher has. To be able to 2-shot chest shot, 1-shot headshot out to some distance, that's exactly what we need. And so this is such a good step in the right direction. I'm so incredibly happy to make this video, but now it's time for all of you guys to put your thoughts down below. Let me know, what do you think about slugs on the M10 Breacher in Warzone? Are you really as excited as I am to see this change? Do you think there could be some more tweaks to those slugs in general for this gun or for other shotguns? Just let me know down below in the comments. And with all that being said, I will see you guys in the next video.
Get ready. Resurgence window is about reloading.